how are you doing today? My name is Louis Lee, and I'd like to introduce the UMass Conservatory of Music and Arts guitar program. Welcome back, and we're continuing the lesson, guitar number 7, and we're going to stay focused and, of course, go with the finger exercise, and you have your sheets. It's all self-explanatory, and so we're going to continue with the left hand and the right hand combination. Remember, we're going to set our metronomes to 60 beats per minute. We're going to put the metronome on, set it 60 beats per minute. And to explain, this time, last lesson we did 1, 2, 3. And the previous to that one, we did 1, 2, 3, 4. So this time we're just going to do 1, 2, rest, rest. Now, why is it so important? Well, when I was in college, I studied music, and Stravinsky wrote a piece, and it was a minute and a half long. It was an introduction where it's a big chord, the orchestra, and it was a long rest for a minute and a half, a long rest. Then it ended, bam, and I said, gee, I couldn't understand the significance until I learned. Silence is good. Music has to breathe. You have to feel that. It has to breathe, you see. Just as my producer keeps telling me sometimes, slow down and breathe. And so it's important, okay, that you do that. And so that's why in this lesson, we're going to play 1, 2, rest, rest. So here we go, ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, 3, 4, 3, 4. Go to the next rank. Go to the next 3, 4, 3, 4, 3, 4, 3, 4, 3, 4. Now another way to count is 3, 4. 3, 4 is this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 times each. You can count. I'm giving you options. 1. These are your options. Go. 1, 2, 3, 3, 3, and 4. 3, 4, 3, 4, 3, 4, 3, 4, 3, 4, 3, 4, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, 3, 4. You're doing very well. Keep up the good work. 3, 4. 3, 4. To the beat. Stay focused with the beat. Become one with the beat. Where you can hear it and feel it. Music's a feeling. Remember, the sixth string might give you a little bit of a problem because you have to stretch. Almost there. Oops, made a little mistake there. That's why you have to practice. 4, 3, 4, 3, 4, 3, 4. 3, 4, 3, 4, 3, 4, 3, 4, 3, 4. This is the last one. Two more. And this is the last one. You will stop. Great. And you notice I waited until the complete count before I did stop. Continue practicing this. Please make sure that you stay focused. Listen to the metronome because it's very important. And I'll see you later. Thank you. Welcome back. This is the theory part with lesson number 7. And what we're going to talk about first is some important notes that is in your book on page 13. Some important habits and theoretical concepts, okay? It tells you that a staff is divided into measures by vertical lines called bars. When you look at a staff, we all know what a staff is, 5 lines and 4 spaces, remember numbered upward. Okay, but you have bars, and those bars give you measures. Those are those vertical lines. Okay, those vertical lines are called bars. So remember that. Because when you're referring to some music, if you're trying to ask a question, you count the bars, you say on bar 29, exactly what note is that, or whatever the question may be. Don't try to hold it up and say, look at this here, can you tell me what this is? No. You say, look at bar 29, is that an eighth note or a quarter note, or is that a D, or what is it, because it's a little bit. Okay, that's how you refer to it. So a staff is divided into measures by vertical lines called bars, okay? It's here, it's in your book. And next, there are 7 musical alphabets in music. They are A, B, C, D, E, F, G. There's no H, there's no P or Y, no, just 7. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Then it goes back to A. If you want C, it's C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. Okay, remember that. And they're numbered respectively. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. What does that mean? 8 means it's an octave. You return back, it's up a whole, you've already done the 7 notes, and now you're back to number 8, where you started off. It's an octave higher. And they're numbered that way. Now, we will not delve into the significance of the numbering, but they're called, just to give you a small presentation, they're called intervals. The distance between a note is an interval. And so when you look at the 1, if you want to go to the 3rd, that's what we're talking here. So if you look at your sheet, you'll see here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You see in A, the third 1, 2, 3 is C. So that's how you can relate to it. You have to have some measuring, some form of measurement. So that's why we use numbers. Remember, this is math. So the third, so if you say the fifth of A is E. So people want to know, so you may hear somebody say a 1, 2, 5. So the 1 is A, the 2 is B, and the 5 is E. A 1, 2, 5 is a jazz progression, 1, 2, 5. Okay, or in blues, it's a 1, 4, 5. You have the 1, the 4, and the 5. This is how they refer to it. So these numbers are significant because you know if you're starting on a certain note, then you just count up that interval. So remember that. Try to study it. Do not over-process it. Try to over-analyze it. I'm giving you information. I'm feeding it to your subliminal mind so that later it'll come back to you. But just remember what these numbers are and try to study it. Next, we have, what is a tone? People want to know. A tone is a musical sound. So if somebody is singing or they're playing and the tone is off, that's how you would refer to it. Your tone is a little off, which is a sound. Well, what's wrong with it? It's a little flat. It's a little sharp. That's how you refer to it, your tone. Your tone, can you tone it down some? You know, a little bit, you know, ease down your tone. Okay, great. Okay, but now what is a pitch? People don't, they misconstrue these words. A pitch is how high or low a note is. Your pitch is off. Can you go up higher? Has nothing to do with your tone being flat. Can you sing it higher? Do, do. I just went up on the pitch. But a do, that's off. Do. My tone is off. But if I go up, do, do. Now that's the pitch. Remember these words because they're significant in music. And think of a doctor, if you're a cardiologist and you're in the operating room and you ask for something and they hand you something that's wrong. You have to know, I didn't ask for that. So that's how music is. These terms are very important. Remember? Okay, so next, we all, and we've covered this, all guitar music is written in the treble clef, and it's called a G clef. And the reason why it's called a G clef is because of the curve that it has. Okay, and so what else do we have here? Okay. Always practice with the metronome. We've covered that, but I'll keep mentioning that to you because it's very important. And the last one is always check your guitar to make sure it is in tune. Use a tuner. Now, if you have perfect pitch, that's fine, okay? But if not, use a tuner because if you go someplace and you're out of tune, that could ruin the whole gig, and that's not good. That's something we don't want, okay? So that's this part here. Now, next, we're going to get into an interesting part, very interesting. And in your book, you'll have 16th notes, 32nds, 64ths. That's something that we'll cover later. What you want to do is learn the basic notes for this step, the basics, so because you're intermediate or you're a beginner. So, with that in mind, it tells you. Now, what I have written here, remember I try to condense it. A rest indicates a silence of equivalent duration. My mother told me, what does that mean when she read it? She said, no, you didn't really spell that out. Okay, I should have done it differently, but it's too late. A rest indicates a silence of the equivalent duration. A rest indicates a silence. Okay, we know that. It indicates something means be quiet. Of an equivalent, something that's equal to it. The duration. Okay, that's how I put this. So, what does that mean? Okay, a whole note. A whole note, for an example. And you'll see a sheet, it says a whole note gets 1 beat and 4 counts. Remember, like 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. The duration of that sound is rated for the full 4 counts. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hit again. 1, 2, 3. That's it, okay? The duration. Okay, and we'll get into the rest next very quickly. A half note gets 1 count and 2 beats. 2, 3, 4. And I said that backwards. 1 beat and 2 counts. 3, 4. 1, 2. So it's, the duration of how long that sound I'm allowing it to last is for 2 counts. A quarter note gets 1 beat and 1 count. 1, 2, 3, 4. ring the full count. Now this is a tricky one. An eighth note is one beat but half a count. Remember, we're using a measuring. This is our gauge, our measuring. So now in music you have a downbeat, you have an upbeat. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and that's what you have to do. Then you have to subdivide. So you have a downbeat and upbeat. So it's 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. And I just played 8 beats. I counted 4, but I played 8 beats. Let's count it. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 beats, 4 counts. So let me play it on the guitar. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Now remember, now let's go with the rest. The rest means it's the equivalent. It's equivalent. A rest indicates a silence of an equivalent duration. So if you have a whole rest, that means there's nothing. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Remember, this is the rest note. And to keep it, it looks like an upside down hat. When I was in college, I asked my professor, why did he make it the right side hat and then the upside down for the quarter note? I mean, for the half note. My professor said that's what it's been, and so we have to live with it, and that's how life is. To me, I don't know why, but just think of a hat turned upside down when you see it. That's a whole rest. So we did a whole rest. Let's do a half rest. 3, 4. What I'm going to do is play a half note, then I'm going to play a half rest. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, rest, rest. 2, rest, rest. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, this is going to really become much more clear when you hear this quarter note. So I'm going to play a quarter note with a quarter rest, a quarter note, a quarter rest. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that concludes this lesson for this time. Thank you so much. That was Mike. Welcome back. And this portion is the fun part. This is lesson number 7, guitar lesson number 7. And what we're going to do is we're going to continue on with the chords on the Eubanks Guitar Conservatory sheet, or guitar chord sheet, which you have that. Okay, and we're going to start with the C7 chord. Okay, and so I'm going to set the metronome. Remember, we always set our metronome at 60 beats per minute. So I'm going to set that on. Here we go. 2, 3, 4. Now, that chord here, again, I would make it like this. But that might be kind of difficult. Or like that. That's the E. I would never do it like this. But some students might do it that way. And very quickly, I like to be very considerate and understanding when it comes to this instrument. And one of my favorite guitarists next to Lady Bro was Jimi Hendrix. And his technique was not the best, but he was a genius. I mean, or Prince. Bad technique, but a genius. You know, and I've tried to listen to his stuff and to play it, and it wasn't easy. I just studied it. So technique is important, but it's not everything, okay? If God has given you the gift and you can play well, then that's good. But the Bible says, study to show yourself approved. So if your technique isn't the greatest, but you can read music, that's all that matters, because you may not have the greatest technique, but you can read that music. And nobody's going to know the difference if your technique is correct or incorrect. So I just wanted to say that, so that if you're not playing it the way that I asked you to play it, but you're getting the desirable sound, that's all that matters, okay? So, having said that, we're going to just compromise. We're going to do it this way. And so we're going to start off, that's the C7, which is on the second row, which is your third tablature. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, whole notes, 3, remember the whole notes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we're going to do the half notes, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, quarter note, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 8 notes, 4, 2, 3, 4, 4, and 1, 2, mix them up. 1, 2, 1, 2. Remember, have fun with it. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 8, 8, 8, 8, quarter, quarter. 8, 8, 8, 8, quarter, quarter. But whatever you do, try to make sure that you stay in sync with the metronome, because that's very important. Now the next chord that we're going to learn is the next one to it, which is here, the E major chord. And that's a pretty chord, E minor, excuse me, because here we go. It's just a pretty chord, minor, minor for blues. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 4. Now, later on in the instruction, the lessons, we will get into the significance of chords and what they produce, what they connote, what the feeling do they conjure up, because they just do. Music, it's vibrations. Certain chords will invoke a certain feeling. And so certain chords, and you'll get used to it. And a minor chord is more of a blues chord. It's for something that is sad. 2, 3, listen to it. As opposed to the 7. 2, 3, 4. 7's a little brighter. Okay? Great. Now, the last chord that we're going to learn today is the E major chord. And that's here, remember, on your sheet. The second one, the third row, the second tablature. And that's a pretty chord. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2. And that chord sounds similar to the 7. But there is a significant difference, and your ear will get used to it. That's the 7th, but let's do the major. Now, what I'm doing is I'm trying to demonstrate how music is very hypnotic. And the more you practice and you have control, it can captivate people. Because music is that way. It appeals to our senses of just, or you could play something where it could be startling, oh, you know, or it could be rock and roll where it's really loud, where it, oh, it's piercing. So, but the point I'm trying to make is that the more you practice, the more you have fun, then you can control what you're trying to do. And that concludes this portion of lesson number 7, fun part.